All right, today we're going to bring a test bench for actually a computer, and this is how it comes in. First of all, they come in. They all have different sections, and we're going to go ahead and start the process. Now, I bought a smaller one. I didn't like it because it shows false advertisement. It was supposed to be for ATX motherboard. Unfortunately, it wasn't for an ATX motherboard. It was for actually a smaller version of it. So now, this one is supposed to be having housing the actual power supply and also the computer, the actual motherboard. So we're going to take a look at it. We're going to put it together and see how it works. Out of the box is a plexiglass, if you guys can see. Cutout wasn't very good. If you guys can see, some of the stuff still hangs in there. All the holes seems to be punched properly. Now, the instructions are not the best, to be honest with you. They're like pictures and some description of how the whole assembly is supposed to go on. Right now, it looks like it's not that complicated to put together. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get this up and running by today. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's take a look at a couple of items that were in the box. All right, look at the kit. I like this part. They have everything separate because before they used to give you little Ziploc bags and everything's included. They give you a bit in case you have to drill some extra hole or something that's not working properly, or maybe it wasn't cut out properly. The actual pins to hold on any of the attachments that you're gonna add on. All the accessory buttons, which is the reset button, the motherboard button, motherboard startup button, and so forth, and audio and everything's in here. The stands, the actual legs to set up the whole thing system. The power button, it's a large little power button that you need to set up. Zip ties, I like this part. They do include extra bits and Phillips in here, and pretty much all the bits. And this is a free accessory, which is good by itself. It could have been a couple of price, a couple of dollars here and there, but that's not bad that they include this thing. And then two fans along with the actual screws. So instructions included, the Betsy glass. So we're gonna put it together. All right, for the motherboard that I have here, it's an ATX motherboard, large motherboard. I needed to put it on top of it. I didn't go with the instructions. Very difficult to read the instructions. I just ended up putting the motherboard and putting every single little stand that needs to be holding the actual motherboard up. If you guys can see, and I'm gonna flip it over now because I can do that. So I was able to just mock it up with the motherboard instead of going to instructions. Instructions don't have very good details. They're just pictures pretty much, and it just points out where you have to put some of the stuff, and you have to count how many holes before, and it's very difficult. So instead of going that route, I end up doing this. All right, one important thing that you got to set these up first prior to setting them on the motherboard, because it's gonna hit the screws. So make sure you put it on first. These first. That's just a little recommendation I have for that. So let's take a look at a couple things. I know I have to do cable management on this, but it's coming out pretty good. Actually, I'm impressed that the actual power supply fit in this module here. And the rest, we have to install the CPU and the memory and the GPU, and we should be in business. So right here in this area here, drop it there. So it seems like everything's in there. It's pretty good. So all we got to do is just close it up, and that's it. That's pretty much it. That's the hardest part that you have, the CPU, all right? So that's probably the worst part that I have to always be stressing out. Make sure that it's properly set up. So no, once we got that in there, I'm going to go ahead and set up the actual fan. And I like that these AMDs, they come with the fan. So let's go ahead and set that up. And we don't have to worry about also any thermal, because there is already a thermal tape in there, thermal liquid set up. All we got to do is make sure that we set these up in them properly. All right, so we might have to remove these two, and that's pretty much it. That's all we got to do.